I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
I don't know how to quit you.
I was wrong about you. Yeah? How so? I thought Christmas only comes once a year.
Da, 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 da. Do you know what happens to a toad that gets struck by lightning?
No, what?
The same thing that happens to everything else. Da-da-da.
Oh, God. Bad movies. Bad lines.
Not necessarily bad movies, but bad lines.
Terrible lines. It's terrible. Pretty Woman has several bad lines in them.
My
She saves them right back. Get it, girl. Get
My
it.
favorite line is not a line at all. It's when she reaches for the jewelry box and it slams shut. She's like,
And then it's in so many other movies
Yeah.
and TV shows, and they're like, "Oh,
it's in the 80s fashion montage.
every single
in
time.
every movie.
Single time. Why isn't it recording my voice?
Hmm.
This is
I'm not
rude.
sure.
Let's see what it does now. Okay, now it's recording me.
So you're probably wondering what this has to do with our podcast.
Everything. It has to do everything with our podcast.
And it's because we decided what? It's because we decided to do a podcast about our controversial movie opinions about movies that you like that we don't, and about movies that you think suck that we love.
Yeah, I got a
So-
lot of bad movies I love.
Me too.
They're my favesies.
You know, and you know what? We know they're not amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
There are guilty pleasures.
makes us
Let
happy.
us have this.
You know, just because I bring up that I like a certain movie doesn't warrant you to just chime in to be like, well, actually, this is why the plot is stupid. I know the plot's stupid.
That's why I
I'm
like it.
watching it because I like it.
See, I'm not somebody that has to have something be groundbreaking for me to enjoy it.
Me neither.
I like watching movies because it entertains me. And if it's something that's like so stupid that I just get to sit there and be like, I will do that. I will sit there and I will enjoy it. And I don't care what anyone else says about it. It can be a bad movie and I can like it.
Yeah. That's why I don't get a lot of nerd rage over movies these days.
I don't get it either.
Because it's just like, you know, did you like the... Because, like, what I experience personally is
Yeah.
that, like, when I see it at the movies or, like, when I see it for the first time, usually I like it,
Yeah.
and then all the other crazy nerds start screaming about it.
Right.
And then I feel like I have to change my opinion. But, like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the worst thing that you can do because you start to feel like you're not true to yourself and you start to feel like you have to make other people happy based on what you like and make yourself happy.
Yeah.
If you like something other people don't like, big whoop-dum do.
I like stupid
Good
movies.
for you.
I like explosions for no reasons. You know what? I've watched every seasons of Power Rangers, and every time they morph, there's just an explosion for
It's like,
no reason.
Oh, excuse me. Or like in the Wolverine movie when, the motorcycle exploded in midair, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I know on Mythbusters that they busted the idea that if you shoot a gas tank that it's going to blow up.
Right.
I still want to see it blow up.
Yeah. Let us have this.
Movies aren't scientifically real.
They're not supposed to be. The people writing them are not scientists. They're people that write movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because scientists are doing real sance.
Right. And if a scientist was actually writing a movie, it would just plain out be boring.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Like, they'd be like, oh, they shot that engine. They shot the gas tank. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Oh, where's all the fun in that?
Whoops.
There's no fun.
So also, welcome to the Nerdy 30s, the podcast that proves you know how to give up the things you love at a certain age. I am Travis Harrison.
I'm Erin Naoma.
And today we're going to bitch about movies.
Yeah.
So,
There's going to be lots of angry banter and
really.
amusing banter.
Not really bitching about movies, probably bitching about you, but talking about movies.
Yeah.
So, stick around.
That's going to be great. Ah! So I want to completely start out with classic movies that we just don't like. So my biggest thing that I don't like, my biggest classic movie I don't like is Carrie.
Aw.
I hadn't seen it when I was younger, and I watched it now. I watched it a couple months ago with my husband Mitch, and I did not dig
which
it.
version? The Sissy Spacek?
The Sissy Spacek version. I watched it. I did not like it. And Mitch was like, why don't you like it? It's a woman getting empowerment. And I was like, this is not a woman getting empowerment. So, okay, the movie opens with a bunch of naked girls in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so obviously this movie about a young teenage girl is written by men and directed by men.
Well, it was made at that time in the 70s where it was
boobs were everywhere.
Where it was like, oh, we're doing a horror movie. Let's put titties everywhere.
Didn't even have to be horror movies. Any movie.
But especially
with the
horror
boobs in
movies.
it.
That's why like a lot of horror
true.
movies are looked down on, which
Yeah.
sucks because I'm a horror fan. But like, there was a period of time in the 70s and 80s where it's just like, oh, you're making a horror movie. Let's hire a porno actress and just put like
Put
boobs
her in there and then let her boobs bounce around. It'll be great. But that really, just the first scene irked at me. And she's 18 years old and she gets her first period at 18.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a really delayed period. I'm pretty sure other girls would be talking about their periods in the locker room that they're in. How would she not know about it?
It's been a long time since I've seen the movies or read the book. Well, let's be real, I don't read books.
I do. I love books.
I do occasionally, but
That's okay. You don't have
like
to
I
read
think the
books.
implication there is because like she was abused her whole life by her
Right.
mother, and like she's so traumatized. Plus, maybe like especially the Sissy Spacek version, maybe she has an eating disorder. And
She is quite skinny, and I questioned this.
yeah, so I feel like maybe that's why it was so delayed. Is because she wasn't healthy.
Right. But I still don't really buy it that she did not know about it because sex ed started at that time period, and I feel like she would have heard about it from the other girls.
I don't know because like I mean, first of all, the other girls were awesome. I like Carrie, so I'm going to
okay.
provide the counterpoints.
That's okay. You
Not
can.
violently because I can see where she's coming from. Because whatever.
Yeah.
But like not necessarily like she wasn't liked by the other girls, so she probably didn't. She probably heard about it, but like her mother was so religious that she was probably
Right.
like, "What's this? What's this, Mom?" And her mom's like, "Shut up and pray."
Right.
You know.
But then the next thing that happened when she gets her period at 18, I'm just going to point that out again. Because I don't think who wrote this knew. Again, they're not scientists that write movies. All of the girls, instead of helping her, decided to yell at her and scream at her and throw pads all over her and tampons
Teenagers
all over
are
her.
horrible.
And I'm like, when I was in high school and elementary school and girls were getting their periods, we were like, I am so sorry you got your period. Let me help you out. I have never, ever come into contact with a girl that was like, I am going to shame you for having your period.
Yeah, but
It's always been boys that I've been around that has shamed girls for their period.
that's true. I do want to bring up. It wasn't like written as a movie. It was originally a Stephen King novel, and he has his issues with writing teen sexuality.
Oh, I know he does. I know he
Like
does.
the deleted scene in it where a bunch of 12-year-olds have sex in a sewer.
Yeah. It's like, Stephen King, you got some issues,
So
honey. You got
I don't
some
know. I could see
issues.
that. I understand them portraying these teenage girls as horrible because
Right.
the mean girl trope is a very popular genre in movies.
Yeah.
But also, this is a horror movie, so it's kind of portraying them as monsters too. But I can see where you're coming from because it's written from a man's point of view.
Right. It just seemed really unrealistic to me, coming from a girl perspective. And what was the point of most of the characters? None of them had like backstories. They were all just there to be mean, and then they would leave. And I'm like,
Because you
no
have
one,
to-
no one was 3-dimensional. And it drove me nuts. And John Travolta's character, like, I'm just like, are you just gonna go slaughter some pigs?
Yeah.
Okay, have
Well,
fun.
That's why there's a certain disconnect you have to have when you're watching horror movies.
Yeah.
Because certain characters are just going to be there just to be caricatures.
Right.
Because you want to see them die.
That's true.
So, like, the meaner they are, you're just like, oh, I hope you get squashed by those bleachers. Oh, you did! Yay!
I don't know. Like, and there were moments, like, some of the storyline just wasn't clear cut and concise. Like, did the girl that asked her to go ask her boyfriend to ask Carrie to prom, did she know what was going on? I personally think she did it. Didn't. Mitch thought she did. And I was like, I don't think she did because she looked horrified that something was going to happen.
Hair.
Yeah.
She didn't.
I didn't think
There's
she
like
did
a whole,
either.
like, shitty sequel that I love because it's a terrible movie that I love. Where she's grown up because it's in the 90s and she's like the peer counselor or whatever at the high school.
Right.
And she talks about the first movie where that she regrets like
Right.
everything because she didn't know what was going to happen and that she wished she could have saved Carrie.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. See, I thought I was right. I am the winner.
You're right.
I am the winner. Thank you.
That movie's terrible, by the way. It's called The Rage, Carrie 2.
I'm gonna have to watch it now, just so I can be like,
the reason she freaks out because it's Carrie's half sister, the secret half sister that she didn't know about. It's soap opera logic.
what?
Yeah,
With the mom like her mom?
I know, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but well, no, I think the thing was like her mom in the first movie wasn't her real mom. It's a shitty explanation. Like it wasn't her real mom. It was like her foster mom. And, like her real mom's
so
in
they
prison.
kind of Rapunzeled her.
Yeah. So, but like, then she goes, she starts having her telekinesis. The reason she goes crazy and starts killing all the teenagers is because they take a video of her having sex with a boy and show it on the big screen. But like, they're not even like super mean about, I mean, like, it's like 90s, like, haha, look at her. She's having sex, loser.
Right.
She's having sex. She's having sex. it's like, okay.
It's like big whoop-dum. I
Well-
guess that's like my thing with the period. I'm like, big deal. She got her period.
Like, I know, but I mean, I guess I can understand like from a consent point of view that's an
Yeah.
issue, but on the other hand, they're shaming her for having sex with the cutest, most popular boy in school.
Right.
And I'm just like, what's the logic in that?
Well, it's probably because that having sex is something that girls get shamed for a lot, so I could see it.
But then she starts like, it's like a 90s house party, so she starts like killing people with CDs.
Well, what else are you gonna do? Well, that was my other thing, is the mass murder in the end of it, because it's like, I've never heard of a female committing a mass murder ever, so I'm just kind of like, So I didn't buy that either, and
It is interesting. Like, cause like I love horror movies. And
Yeah.
like I can identify with, I don't want to sound like one of those crazy people that are shooting up schools.
I'm gonna identify to do that.
But I can identify with being so angry
Yeah.
that you secretly wish that those people that were bullying you just would drop dead.
Right.
So, like, it's interesting to hear, like, a female point of view versus a male point of view.
Right.
Because it was written from a male point of view about a woman. So that's,
Exactly. And that's why whenever she did that, I was like, again, this is written by a male.
Yeah.
Because that's not really a female way of dealing with bullies. Females more so take it out on themselves, which could contribute to her having an eating disorder.
Yeah.
And her having a late period. But 90% of the movie I did not believe. And again, they're not scientists writing it. I know this, but I did not like the movie. I didn't feel like... I felt like it being a female-centered character, maybe they should have talked to some females about what females go through.
Yeah.
But it was the 70s, so they're not going to do that. And, like, believe me, I am not somebody that goes out of my way to look for things to gripe about, but this felt like a very anti-lady movie. Period shaming, all that stuff. So, no thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's Stephen King, who is, he has some good ideas.
Yeah.
But he has some really terrible
What
ideas,
about the
too.
lamp monster he came up with one time? Oh,
What?
the
Where?
lamp's alive.
Which
It's gonna
one?
eat all. It was on Family Guy. He's like, here's my new book. Oh, this lamb's alive.
Notice how I didn't question you.
But that's the kind of that's the quality material that you can get from Stephen King. You know?
I mean, like, I do love Carrie, but like, I
Right.
get it. Like, coming from a female point of view, it probably would have been better with the male character.
Yeah. It would have made more sense with a male character.
But yeah, I mean, he has some ideas.
Yeah.
They're not always great, but there is a reason that he's well known as like a master of horror, and that's because some of his ideas are good,
Yeah.
unless they involve preteen gangbangs and sewers. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not great. Maybe leave the sexual stuff out of there, because it always seems to be young people.
Well, see, like, I like sex and horror, but
But it's
not
like
when
little
it's like
kids.
little kids.
It seems
That's
to always
creepy.
be little kids, but maybe that's why he does it, to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like, I don't understand, because like, it comes after they defeat Pennywise. Gross. Gross. It comes up, but like after they defeat Pennywise for the first time, they're like, "Oh, we're lost. Well, the only way we can remember how to get out of the sewer is to have sex with
What?
each other." I'm just like, "What?"
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, they never include it in the movies, so that's good.
That's a very good thing. Because caramba, kids have to do enough weird things in movies.
I mean, like,
Let's
you know
not
what?
have them do that.
Like, I really like the new movies, so
Yeah.
good job leaving that out.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's a good idea. So leave out kid sex. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Is there a classic movie that you just despise?
It's not as well. I guess it's considered classic. It's not really classic.
Yeah.
It's modern classic. It's like it was around 2005. But it's kind of similar to you, where you're coming with a female viewpoint
Right.
on this movie. I'm coming from a gay person's
Okay,
perspective
yeah.
of this movie, and it is Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
The reason I don't really like it, first of all, it has a little bit less to do with the movie and more with the, oh, they're so brave. They're playing boys that kiss and have sex.
Yeah.
So brave of them. Let's give them Oscars because it's so brave.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's brave to be a gay person in America, especially right now.
But those actors weren't gay.
But they weren't gay.
Right.
They were straight people. And it's just kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't rub me the right way.
Yeah.
It's not a pun, by the way. It's just, it doesn't.
Right. No, I completely know what you're saying.
But second of all, the movie itself, I get that it's, I mean, like, I am a gay person. I've experienced this shit too.
Yeah.
I get that it's hard to be a gay person in a rural area.
Right.
Especially in the time frame when the movie takes place, what, 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
Especially in that time frame. It's just, they don't really portray them that well.
They don't portray
really
them as nice people
portray them
whatsoever.
positively.
No.
They're shitty to their wives, which I understand the wives said some homophobic shit in it, but it's because they were hurt
Yeah.
because they
were
found
lashing out.
their husbands making out.
Right.
Like, also, little, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much of it, but it feels a little abusive, like a one-sided and abusive.
Yep. Oh, especially with Heath Ledger's character with Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Like the two of them. Like him throwing stuff and yelling.
Well, I mean, even the way
leaving
that
her
he's
the
with,
kids and...
even the way he is with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, absolutely.
He's just like, turn over.
Yeah.
You know?
And then he just spits in his hand.
Well,
It's like, that's not enough.
well.
Is it? Is it enough?
It depends.
I don't feel like it
there's
would be enough.
there's a big debate between gay people on
Yeah.
this online,
Yeah.
and you know what? I have used spit to great success. It's just you have to communicate with your partner, but he was not.
No, he just
He
went.
was just ramming away, and they'd had beans, and they'd been ranching. They'd been like corralling sheep all day.
Their butts are gonna stink.
So it was poopy and sweaty and gross, and you know what? Maybe some people are into that. I am not. You
Yeah.
need to clean it.
Yeah.
It's just not. Plus, the last movie that Ang Lee did before Brokeback Mountain was the horrible Hulk movie, where it was just everything was
Is that
dark.
the one with Edward Norton?
I can't remember which one. No, it was the one with Jennifer Connelly in it. I forget who
Edward
played.
Norton's in that one. No, that's Liv Tyler.
It was the one before that. It was really.
The really bad one.
It was really bad because it was really dark and you couldn't see what was happening half the time. It was just a bad movie. So I will give credit to where credit's due. It was good to have a mainstream gay movie. Yeah. It just wasn't a good mainstream gay movie. And also, it's kind of boring. It's long and boring.
It was really boring.
It doesn't keep
You
my
don't
interest.
have to show the scenery for 20 minutes and then finally show the characters. They did that so many times.
Here's a mountain.
Here's a bunch of sheep walking
some
down
sheep.
the woods. Oh, there they go. Let's
There's
wait until they get across the screen before we show Heath Ledger.
There's Heath Ledger in a silhouette taking off his cowboy hat.
Oh, there's
Slow
Jake
motion.
Gyllenhaal chewing on some hay. It was boring as crap.
It was really boring.
I remember one of our friends from high school went with me to go see it whenever it first came out, and no, different. She would not go. She wouldn't. She's got issues. But I remember we went to go see it, and we had slushies with us that we had snuck in, and we're sitting there, and we're slurping away, and everybody else in the whole theater. There's only 3 or 4 other people in the theater with us, and the sex scene starts, and while we're sitting there, we're like, we stop and we just are staring, and then we're like, do we look at each other? Do we do it? And knowing me, I peek over. I peek over at her. And she's still just sitting there her mouth on her straw. It was very nice to watch. I just wanted to put that out there, that ladies like gay men, okay? They can do it and we'll enjoy it.
They do.
I know!
It's so weird because I've mentioned before that I role play and then I write fan fiction occasionally.
Right.
There's a huge more than actual gay men, women are the ones that are writing a lot of this gay stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's, on one hand, it's a little weird and fetishy. It's you like watching boys make out, but you wouldn't be happy if your son was gay, right? But on the other hand...
Do they say that?
Some of them are very much like that. Some of them, because they're just Sherlock and Watson.
Watch out!
Yeah. But, they don't really support gay people in real life.
That's kind of like most of the males that I know that are
watch
I love
porn?
lesbian porn. And I'm
Yeah.
you know that they're lesbians, right? Lesbians.
You know that they're not lesbians in lesbian porn.
That's true.
Because they have giant fingernails that would shred vaginas.
Yeah, and lesbians know better.
Yeah.
They're like, oops.
No.
No. No. But yeah. But seriously, there's this thing where girls aren't supposed to like things that are sexy, but hey, we like sexy stuff.
Actually, also, Brokeback Mountain, pretty sure it was written by a straight girl. The book that
probably
is Annie Prue or something.
Yeah.
I haven't done research on it, but you know what? I bet she was a straight girl.
No guarantee it because it was boring. No, I'm kidding. I made a joke.
No, it was. It was boring.
No, I know, but I was saying
Finally.
that it. Remember, I said, but it was a straight girl because it was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a homosexual that has worn a cowboy hat at least once, and it was really boring.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I just think that ladies need to know. Hey, girl, it's okay. You want to watch that porn with 2 guys? You do it.
Yeah,
You do it,
it's
ladies.
Fine. It's fine as long as you are actually supportive of gay people and you're not doing it as a weird fetishy thing. I mean, you can have a fetish about it. Just respect us, you know?
Right, exactly.
As
100%.
people.
100%.
You know? That's fine.
It's got me curious about people that go to gay bars.
Oh, 100%. There's people that are just there that just...
Want to watch people macking it. People, come on. Consent! Consent issues, 100%.
Consent.
So, I think I've mentioned this one before. I might have, I might not have. I really dislike The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie. The Chronicles of Narnia. I do not like them. I watched the first one. I was completely bored and repulsed at the same time. James McAvoy's character is a complete pedophile. I could not handle it. Him giving that little girl, when he finds a little girl in the woods, brings her to his house, and she's alone with this man goat, and he's like, let me give you some tea. And he gives her tea, and then he makes her, he drugs her with his little flute thing and puts her to sleep. And I'm like, how is this not date rapey? Does anyone else notice this? I was watching it in the theater, and I'm looking around the room. I was like, does no one else see a problem here? Because this is gross.
You know, I saw a problem with a child asking for Turkish Delight. Have you ever had Turkish Delight? It's disgusting.
He was into it.
Bitter.
That's why he had to go to the evil queen for it.
She's like, sure, I'll make you this earwax ball.
Exactly. And he's like, yes, fine.
It's so gross.
That's how you knew he was going to be a bad guy, because he likes Turkish Delights.
I don't like it.
That's what it was.
I mean, I like Tilda Swinton, and I thought the costume design was good.
Yeah.
I don't have emotions about this movie either way. I'm just
boring. It's boring, and it's stupid, and I don't know. I went and did not enjoy. I didn't even watch the next movies. I saw little snippets of it when my parents were watching it, and I walked in the room, and then I'd see James McAvoy's character again, and I'd be like, I'm gonna go in here.
One of the other ones where they were on a
food.
boat or something.
Yeah.
And they went to this island, and then there was a tea party with tree people. I don't know.
I thought it was boring.
Well, I
I
can't
remember there was a
half
bunch of statues at some point. Everyone got frozen. And I was like, okay.
They just stopped making the movies because they were like, eh.
Everybody's frozen, so we better just end the movie here. I always like the idea of any time that something bad happens to a main character, oh, the movie's over. They died. Movie's done. It'd be 10 minutes in. It's done. I would like to see that in a movie.
Well, you know what? A lot of these new video games that are choice-based coming out.
Yeah. The main character can die.
Your main character killed, and the game's just 10 minutes long. You're like, whoops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorites is Heavy Rain, and they just had a new one come out. Detroit
Become Human. It's so good. It's basically a mix between iRobot, Blade Runner, basically a bunch of robot movies, but it's so good. It's about it's about in the future where people have invented androids as kind of the next step of these personal Siri type
Rosie
things.
from the Jetsons.
Yeah, but
human looking.
Full human. But they've made the AI too good, and they've started feeling things. And the whole game is basically it's basically an analog for civil rights movement.
Yeah.
With the Black Americans. Plus, there's a lot of commentary on stuff today.
Yeah.
With the peaceful protests, kneeling at football games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens with these androids in the game.
Yeah.
But it's so good. You need to play it.
I am saving up my $60 to go get it.
It's so good.
Quantum Dreams is one of my absolute favorite video game makers. I just love them. They did Heavy Rain, which you play a whole bunch of different characters, and if any of them die, they are just completely gone.
Yeah,
and
the same.
You can't bring them back. They did. And you get to even play as a murderer in Heavy Rain.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say who it is because it is such a surprise.
Yeah, if you like Heavy Rain, you'll like this one even more because I've never seen a game before where it's just every choice you make affects the future of the game. You can make a choice as one character in one chapter, and then 10 chapters later, that choice you made
That's how Heavy Rain
has
is.
fucked over another character.
Seriously, that's how Heavy Rain is.
Yeah.
They came out with another video game not that long ago called Beyond, and it was terrible.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, it was not good. Literally, the whole movie was... Not whole movie. The whole game. I do that all the time. The whole movie. It's basically a movie. The whole game was just, should you commit suicide or not? Mm-hmm. That was it. Every choice that you made just went to this one moment where you were like, commit suicide? Don't commit suicide. What's your choice? And I was like, oh, I I guess don't commit suicide. And so then I lived on the reservation with a Native American boy, and I got married. It was great. That's what I would do in real life. I'd be like, whoo! But it was not a good game, and I was extremely disappointed in them.
Well, this one made up for it.
Thank goodness. They hadn't had a game out for a few years, so I had a feeling that
working on this one.
they were coming out with something good. Mm-hmm. Because Beyond came out right after Heavy Rain and a whole bunch of download content from Heavy Rain. So I was like, what's going to happen here with this one? And I like Ellen Page, but they didn't use her to her highest quality. It was just okay. Just okay.
Yeah, well, this one's amazing. Like I said, at the end of every chapter, like, they'll show you the paths that you could have taken, and there's sometimes just dozens of different paths that you could have taken.
Yeah.
And they're locked, so you have to replay the game if you want to see them.
Oh, yeah. And believe me, on Heavy Rain, I replayed at least 30 times.
Yeah.
And I got everything. I platinumed that game. It was amazing. I was really sad, though, because in some of them, to get the platinum, you had to kill off certain characters.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, like, breaking my heart because I had to kill off, what's his name? I had to kill off Jason's dad. I can't remember the dad's name right now. But it broke my heart because you could see the little kid in the drain pipe just, like, looking up. And the rain's falling down on him, and he's like, "Where's my father?" It just broke my heart. Yeah. And then Norman Jayden, I hated killing him because he was my favorite character. He's freaking cool.
You know who Clancy Brown is?
No.
He does the voice of Mr. Krabs, I think. He's
Mr. Krabs?
Yeah,
on SpongeBob?
On SpongeBob.
Okay.
But he's a famous like character actor. He did like the Highlander TV show, and like he's one of those people that you see his face, you'll know who he is.
Oh, okay.
Like he was the drill sergeant in Starship Troopers. Well, anyway, he plays one of the human characters that you're always interacting with because he's the grizzled old police officer. Which, by the way, this game takes place in the future, and like it's really shocking if you're like looking at people's profiles and you're just like born in 2011. What? It just makes you feel uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable. 86 here.
Yeah. So the old character played by Clancy Brown was born in 85.
Oh, what?
And he's like 50 something.
What? Oh, because it's the future.
It's the future.
I had a moment where I was like, no, I'm not that old.
Yeah.
I was about to fight. I was going to fight them.
It's good, though. It's good. Play it. That's all I'm going to say. Play it.
I look forward. I can't wait to get it. It's on my list of get-sees. Did you hear that?
It sounded like a bird.
It did sound like a bird. I think there's a bird in my house, but whatever.
Maybe. But back to movies.
Yeah.
Do we have any more that we just don't like?
I have so many. I'm very picky.
I could probably think of more, but like I usually have the opposite problem, where like there's so many shitty movies that I'm just like I like it.
Well, see, I usually like crappy movies. I usually don't like the ones where everyone's like, "This is amazing," and maybe it's just I have a problem with authority, and I'm like, I don't like what you're liking. I'm like,
you are not gonna tell me what to like.
Maybe this is my way of giving everyone the middle finger. I don't know, but I don't like It's a Wonderful Life at all.
Probably because of the same issue you had with Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
It's about, should you commit suicide?
Well, more so of like, I'm watching it as a little kid, and that man that worked at the prescription place, like the little shop, smacks that little boy in the ear, and he's already got a problem with his ear, and it just like broke my heart. And then I think his brother died. His brother drowned or something, or he saved his brother. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in so long because it scarred me. I was like, I cannot watch this. It was very Friends, Phoebe, where she's like, it's more like it's a terrible life.
Yeah.
My view is very much so, this life sucks. You are having a terrible time, and I am so sorry. Please change the name of this movie. It's kind of like, I guess it's A Beautiful Life, the one about Nazis. I think it's called Beautiful Life. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a while. But it's about Nazis. It's this father that has kiddos with him, in the Nazi camps, and he's pretending it's a game so that the kids don't get scared.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not a beautiful life.
Yeah.
So don't try to trick me with the names of movies, because I will not be happy with you.
See, I don't mind movies that are just tragic and sad. It's just...
I don't mind that either, but also I don't like, oh, give her the moon. So freaking cheesy. I'll get a lasso and I'll put it around it for you.
Erin's making a face like an angry fish right now.
It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I don't like it. And everybody always wants to watch it at Christmas, and I'm like, no.
No, I don't. Oh.
Oh, he's making a face.
You brought up Christmas.
I triggered something
and
for
I'm
you.
just like, a Christmas Story. Oh.
Oh, yeah. That's not good.
I mean, it was cute the first time I watched it.
They play 24 hours
and then
of
they
the
play
sucker.
it 24. Now it's like 48 hours. They just play it for a whole month straight. I don't need to see that movie that many times.
I don't either.
I don't.
like-
My dad's obsessed with it. So anytime it's on, he will just leave the TV on that channel. He's seen it 5 bajillion times.
Shoot your eye out. How many times can they tell that kid he's going to shoot his eye out?
A lot.
When's he going to realize he's going to shoot his eye out?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm not a fan of the movie, but see, it's less because it's a bad movie. It's more because I've seen it too
It's
much.
oversaturated for you. I get that. I don't like it either. And then I don't like Miracle on 34th Street because I hate Santa. So. And
Her
that,
favorite movie is Grinch movies because it's about ruining Christmas.
bah, humbug. I actually
Scrooge.
love Scrooge. I do. Muppet Christmas Carol is one of my favorite Christmas movies. And Elf. Anything that doesn't actually have to do with Santa,
See, I don't.
I'm good with.
That's probably okay. This is my controversial opinion. I really don't like most movies with Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell.
I don't like most with Will Ferrell either. I have a few
Um,
select favorites. I like Anchorman.
yeah, Anchorman's fine. Like
Yeah.
the Anchorman movies, they're okay. All the other ones, Elf, yeah, I don't like it. Brothers, meh.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, and everybody's like,
Talladega
it's
Nights.
so funny. It's the funniest movie.
It's like,
no, it's not. You have just a childish sense of humor. Then.
Yeah, I don't like
I don't
Talladega
get.
Nights. I didn't like that ice skating movie. I didn't like what is that movie where he was in a fraternity? Old School. I hated that movie.
See, like, and this is my problem, is that I don't like a lot of dude comedies.
I don't either.
I don't like comedies that are just all about just, internalized homophobia and misogyny and patriarchy bullshit and toxic masculinity, which is 90% of what comedies marketed towards males are. Like the American Pie movies, like, oh, let's have sex by the time we're 18. Doesn't matter if we rape this unconscious girl
It's
or
fine.
broadcast her.
She wanted it, right? She didn't say no.
Broadcast this nude foreign exchange student to the internet because, like, she don't know no better because she's a foreign exchange student, so she's stupid, and also she's a woman, so she doesn't have any agency in her own body. That was a tangent, but
No,
like,
it's all good. I 100% agree with you. I can't remember what movie it was. It might have been the American Pie movies. No, I don't know what it was. But there were these kids that, like, climbed up into the rafters and were in one of the air vents, and they went over the girls' locker room. And they're sitting there looking down in the girls' locker room, and one of the girls is in
I
the
know.
bathroom, and she starts peeing, and the
It's-
guy's like, I like you. And then all of a sudden you hear she starts pooping.
it's not another teen movie. And I like that because it's making fun
It's
of the
making
stupid
fun of
bullshit.
them. Yeah.
And then she starts shitting everywhere, and then she's like shitting a geyser, and then
girl.
like they fall out of the vent, and then they break the floor down to the toilet, and then the toilet and
then they
all
get
of them
poop
fall
all over
into the
them.
class below, and then poop explodes everywhere. It's
That's what happens when you peep on girls.
not classy humor, but yeah, it's karma.
Speaking of karma, I have been getting really obsessed with My Name is Earl again. I love that show. That's one of my favorites that you don't hear about very often.
Yeah. I like J.B. Presley, who was also in Not Another Teen Movie.
She's hilarious. She does such a good job.
She has the same face as Margot Robbie.
She does! I watched I, Tonya the other day.
I watched
and
it the other day, too. I love that movie.
I did, too.
It's so good.
I did, too. And I just want to hug. I want to hug Tonya. She was on this season of Dancing with the Stars, the sports
But
edition.
we were really mean when we were watching it.
It's true. We're always mean. We're always mean.
She was
when
around, we were
watch
like,
stuff.
watch out!
She's got Mia! She's got Mia! It wasn't her that kneed people, though. It was her bodyguard. And she didn't know. So, okay, let me just put this out there for the people who have not seen I, Tonya. Tonya Harding did not want her to get Nancy Kerrigan to get kneed. Tonya Harding thought that her death threats that she was getting were coming from Nancy Kerrigan.
Well, she...
So they wanted to send back
Yeah.
the death threats to her. But her bodyguard took it one step further because he wanted to be a BA and decided to hire somebody to break Nancy Kerrigan's kneecap. And Tanya didn't know, so... All those guys got were like a year in jail and some probation. She never got to ice skate again, which I think is complete bullcrap.
Not professionally.
Right, not professionally. She never got to be in a championship, you know, which I think is awful because that's a life sentence for her. And she literally says that in the movie.
It was a good movie. I like how they told the story from like a bunch of different perspectives and like
different angles.
in the middle of a scene she'd be like, this is bullshit, I didn't do that, while she was doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it was fine.
Well, the
I
whole
liked
movie
it.
is written from the interviews that they had with each and every person back in the 90s or something. So it's fascinating. And I loved that the lady that played her mom, I can't think of her name.
Oh, fuck, I love her.
I love her too. I can't think of her name for the life of me.
Why? I just had it and it fled again. She's one of my favorite actresses.
She's amazing.
She's in Juno.
Yeah.
She's in one of my favorite movies from the 90s, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yes,
have you seen
I
it?
have seen that movie.
She's-
I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Crap, what is her
Allison
name?
Janney.
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's in that, and it was so sweet. Her Tonya Harding's real mom wasn't at Dancing with the Stars, but her fake mommy was from the movie.
Oh, the trainer?
Yeah, no, Allison.
No, her ice skate trainer?
What?
The blonde lady that was her trainer?
No. The woman that played her mom. Remember, we were just talking about her.
Oh, Allison Janney.
Allison,
was
yeah.
there.
She
Yeah, I
was-
remember that.
It was so sweet. I was like, she didn't get to have her real mom, but she got to have her real mom. Somebody that supports her and wants to help her and take care of her and not throw things at her and call her names. But, you know, whatever. But anyway.
I want her to act in one of these those games, those choice-based games.
Oh, I would love that.
Just follow just this grizzled old mother.
Oh, she would be so amazing. I love Allison. She just, I don't know, she always brings to life a different character every time she's on screen. She's never the same. And I think that's what I like so much about her.
I love her too.
Yeah, she's good. She's so good.
I get excited every time she's in a movie.
I know! Me too.
I also get excited about stupid action movies.
Oh, this is we're transitioning into movies we like.
Movies
That people usually don't.
people don't like that we like.
Yeah. Which we are going to be picking one of the movies and making
I've already picked
each
mine.
other. I know which one you're going to make me watch.
I know which one she's.
And you don't know which one I'm going to make you watch yet.
I feel like you should do the one we talked about because, like, I'm going to be like, ugh.
I don't know if I can. I have two, and it's really hard for me to pick through. But we'll go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the first one I'm going to bring up is one that it's not just one. It's a series, but I'll only make you watch one because, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love them because I'm obsessed with horror and action and Mila Jovovich kicking zombies in the face.
She looks like my face.
Erin occasionally wears a back brace, and I'm just like, look, you're accidentally Mila Jovovich today.
It's true.
But like, I love the Resident Evil movies, you guys. Like, I love them. I love them unironically. They're some of my favorite movies. And a lot of nerds are so mad because, like, the thing is, like, they don't follow the games, and a lot of the game characters that do appear in the movies are not like important. They're just like there basically as cameos, except for Claire.
It's fan service.
Yeah, fan service. Except for Claire, who's a popular character from part 2, she becomes like a really important character, but she's like the only one.
Yeah.
But like they kind of mismatch all the shit from the games. They're just like, oh, this monster's popular, we're gonna put it here.
Here we go.
And I can understand why that frustrates people, but you know what? I like it. I do. Like, I like how, like, over the course of the movies, the evil Umbrella Corporation just gets so much, like, like, just mustache twirling, like, I love it. Like, they get even worse and worse. It's just, by the last movie, one of the major villains from, like, the first couple movies gets killed by a door.
Is the door, is it a monster door?
So what happens?
Is it like Stephen King's lamp monster?
So, like, he's played as this badass over the bunch of movies. By this time, they've established that everybody has, like, clones.
Yeah.
It really went crazy. But I liked it. So, the debate is, like, it was probably, like, a clone that wasn't... Because, like, in one of the earlier movies, he got superpowers from the zombie virus, and he was, like, shooting tentacles everywhere. He's like, ah!
So, like, was it like a Japanese manga?
Well, not in a sexy way.
Try to write people.
No. I mean, I guess, because, like, there's one scene where he, like, shoots the tentacles in somebody's face, but it wasn't sexy. It just ate his eyeballs.
Shot at them. Oh my.
Yeah. but like, he's established to be this badass, and then in the last movie, they're just, like, basically turning on the door, and he gets squashed by it, and I'm just like, that's anticlimactic.
That'll make me laugh. Okay.
But see, it's so stupid, but it's funny, and I like it, and it's fun, and and the zombies are cool, and there's explosions, and Mila is actually super cool. Like, I like her.
I love Mila Jovovich. I can't say her last name.
I think it's actually Jovovich. She gets really
Jovovich?
angry if you don't say it right. And
I'm so sorry.
Said it like Jovovich, like
Please
100
don't
times.
yell at me. You have my same face. Don't yell at me.
Yeah.
You'd be yelling at your twin sister.
But I like them, so, and I'm not going to apologize for it. You can
don't
complain.
have to. You like what you like.
I know. Y'all can complain about it not being like the games, and you're right, it's not, but I still like it.
Yeah. Games can be different than movies. It doesn't all have to be the same.
You know.
Yeah.
It's nice that I didn't know it was happening, because it didn't follow the exact story of the games.
Right.
So, yeah.
Man. But I get freaked out by zombies. And horror movies tend to freak me out pretty well. So know that I'm going to be watching this probably with a blanket on my head. And I'll wear my back brace for the fun of it.
I feel like if you're okay with like some of the scarier episodes of like Buffy or Supernatural or something, it'll be fine. Oh. It's more action-y. It's like Alien, like not the first one that is actually just a horror movie,
right?
But like the second movie where they're just like, I have machine
guns. Okay, I could get into that.
Yeah,
I could get into that. All right, I'll give it a go.
That's why I like it. I also really like other stupid action movies. You know what? When I first watched Catwoman, didn't hate it.
I like that movie too.
I think it's so funny.
It is funny.
It's so funny.
And I like it when she jumps around and you can totally tell she's like CG. And it's like blatant.
For a second, I'm going to go back to I, Tonya.
Yes.
The skating scenes. Where like, if you freeze frame it, it's like the most haunting like ghost image of Margot Robbie's face just plastered on a figure skater's body.
It's like I did it.
like seriously, like if you're watching her do the twirls, like it's just her eyes are just like...
It's spooky.
They're just wide open,
it's
and it's very clearly pasted on.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, but back to Catwoman. I like Catwoman.
I liked it too, and I liked that her skin was so marbly.
I know.
And that she had like fake little cat claws on.
Sharon Stone's line where she gets slapped or punched in the face, and then she's like doesn't feel it. She's like, skin like living marble.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I like that it's very blatantly obvious that it's Halle Berry all the time, but that like cop guy is like, who is this?
I love that in superhero movies.
I know, it's so good.
Just like, what?
Who is that?
But like I saw a
this
meme.
mysterious character that seems so familiar.
But I saw a meme once that kind of makes sense. Where it's just like, it's like a picture of Zooey Deschanel with bangs and without bangs.
I saw that.
And it's just like, I totally understand why people don't
She does
see
look completely different.
superheroes.
Well, it's her with bangs and glasses and her without both of those things. And then you're like, whoa. Mm-hmm. Dang.
Yeah. But, yeah. It's,
I'm imagining it in my head right now. I completely spaced out.
No, I understand. But sticking in the Bat family with Catwoman.
Yeah.
Also, the 90s Batman movies.
I love them.
Okay, Brokeback Mountain was a shitty gay movie.
Yeah.
The Batman movies in the 90s were great gay movies.
It's true.
Because, first of all, I'm pretty sure Jan DeBont or whoever was directing the movies is just an old flamboyant gay man. I think so. It's been a while. But it's a gay awakening. It's a gay awakening for young gay Travis and probably, well, I've talked to other people for a bunch of young homosexuals because, first of all, in all of those movies, all of the female villains are always just drag queens. Poison Ivy with her Spice Girl cones and
That was awesome.
And her makeup, her drag makeup, and her drag one-liners. My vines have a crush on you. Yeah. This is a one-woman show. Plus the Batman and Robin suits with the big pecs and nipples and cod pieces and firm buttocks.
Yeah.
Gay.
I loved those movies. I don't even care. I loved Mr. Freeze. Like, but, and then I had everybody that I know that was watching the movie was like, why isn't he still Dr. Freeze? I was like, do you think that they're going to keep him being a doctor when he's trying to murder people? Come on, guys. His license has been revoked. He is no longer a doctor. He's Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze.
Coming in with the logic.
But it's like, there's like, it doesn't make sense. Why isn't he a Dr. Freeze?
It's so stupid, but it's so fun. My favorite is just like, oh god, they're at this party or something and Batman's fighting people and like they do so much damage and then like they're like, who's gonna pay for this? And he's like, just put it on my Bat card. He pulls out a Batman
Credit card.
raises questions. Because don't you have to have credit cards in your own personal name,
You
like with
do.
your social security
But you know
number?
what? He's a big, rich, fancy guy, so he could probably...
Maybe, but
maybe
like,
he got one overseas, and he's like, just put my name
but you're
down as
putting
Batman.
lots of expenses.
First name Bat, last name Man.
You're putting a lot of expenses.
Batman
on
von
his Bat card.
Superman.
I love those movies. I love
Oh,
them.
they're so good. I even like Jim Carrey in it. Like, riddle me this.
He's so
riddle
funny.
me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? Not me, fools.
Nicole Kidman pretending to be Jessica Rabbit. She's just like slinking
gosh.
around and she's just like, leather.
I like
love
that out
leather.
of everyone that figured out who Batman was, she was the one. Like, she's like, oh, you kiss the same. Okay, you're Batman, and you're also Bruce Wayne. Perfect. I know those lips. I'd know them anywhere. Val Kilmer, don't mind if I do. Girl don't care. And also, Tommy Lee Jones, man. Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face. He's so much better than the Two-Face now.
The underappreciated Two-Face babes, Sugar and Spice.
They were amazing.
Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar.
Yes, I love those girls. Yeah. They are two ladies I always love seeing in things. Mm-hmm. Seriously,
I love Debbie Mazar.
I do too.
She's always showing up with that accent.
Okay, this is going to be another one of my very telling movies that I really enjoy. I love the Beethoven movies, and she's in them.
She's like a what? She's a mobster or
Yeah,
something?
she's a
trying to
mobster,
kill
and she just
Beethoven?
wants to kill Beethoven and the puppies. She's like Cruella de Vil, but with Saint Bernard. I don't really know why.
I
but
really want that.
I want
dog.
that. I want that dog, and I want his fur all over me. I just want it so bad, you stupid punk. What are you, some kind of freak? Do you remember when she was on Friends?
Probably.
And, like, she was pregnant, and Monica was having a baby at the same time? No. Rachel. Rachel was having a baby at the same time? Nope. Monica. I don't know. Who was it? No, Monica never had a baby. It was Rachel. So, So, so she's in there with her husband, and like her husband's looking over at Rachel while she's like, and she's like, "What are you doing, you sick pervert? What, you want to go over there and you want to grab her breasts? Is that what you want to do? That pregnant woman?"
I miss Debbie Mazar. You know what? I want her to play like an upgraded version of Bad Janet.
Oh,
On The Good Place.
that would be so good.
You fat dink.
You big fat jink. Oh, she'd be so good at it. I don't think Janet ages though.
I don't know. Maybe she's like an older model, like because they upgraded to the newer Janet.
That'd be so good. That'd be so.
You stupid dink.
You fat jink. She chews on bubblegum the whole time. She has a cooking show.
Oh.
Did you know that? I watched it, and it's her and her husband, and she's always like, "You gotta cut it right."
But like, just imagine like if she was an older model of Janet, but like instead of like this like modern like snooky Jersey girl, she's like an old like 80s 90s Jersey girl with like a bunch of cheetah print and like big nails.
So her all the time.
Yeah.
I would be completely into it. Oh my gosh, I love that woman. I love that woman. I'm glad that we have a lot of the same like people that were just like, she's so good.
Debbie
She's
Mazar.
so good. I love her.
She does play the same character in a lot.
She does. Who cares? She's good at
in
it.
another one of my favorite guilty pleasures, like a House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, yeah!
She's in for like 2 seconds, and she's the same.
But it's so good.
She's like bullying Allie Larder's character. She's just like,
had it
why don't you go to this house party instead of me, you dink?
Big fat jink.
Actually, I think that's just a deleted scene, but like, it's amazing.
Then James Marsders is there, and we're all like, what?
James Marsders and Lisa Loeb, and they're just like filming.
That is the weirdest combination. I don't understand.
I love Lisa Loeb.
It's fine. Lisa Loeb is so cute. She's so cute. What was she in not that long ago? Oh, there's a TV show that I've been watching called AP Bio. And apparently Lisa Loeb is in it, and she's dating someone. Oh.
Take meds.
Oh, you're really creepy, Alexa.
Oh, Alexa just showed up.
Thank you, Alexa. Oh, she didn't like me because I thanked her. All right, girl. What was I saying? I don't remember.
AP Bio, Lisa Loeb.
Oh, yeah, was in there, and she's like dating Glenn Howerton's character's arch nemesis, and they have a weird relationship. Apparently Glenn Howerton's character decides to make a fake rumor that her boyfriend is actually dating Alanis Morissette. And she's like, "How dare you date another 90s female pop diva?"
Oh, so she's playing herself?
Yeah, she's playing herself. It is amazing. It is the best thing. I love Lisa Loeb. That show is really funny. I think you would like that show.
Probably. I have so many shows. Like, I've just gone into a coma where I'm just like, I can't watch anything else.
Yeah. See, I'm on a big hunt right now for shows that aren't dark because there's so many dark shows. So
I'm gonna like dark shows too.
yeah. I like dark shows, but I want some variation. I want to have a variation in my life, and I don't feel like I do. But so some movies that I really like that most people dislike. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I've got so many. I love bad movies. So one of them that I know that that you'll probably hate is Jack and Jill.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
It's Adam Sandler twice, and you don't like Adam Sandler once.
I don't.
So
I like him very sparingly. I actually kind of liked the Grown Ups movies. It's him and Chris.
I actually hated those movies.
You know what? I probably liked it mostly for Maya Rudolph. It's because
Oh, yeah.
she fixes everything.
Maya
for me.
Rudolph does fix everything. Well, I mean, I liked 50 First Dates. Maya Rudolph is in that as well. I like a lot of Adam Sandler stuff, but it's because I don't take him seriously by any means. And I just think that's where I can enjoy it.
Oh, no. He's too much of a man-child for me. I'm a man-child and a half.
Is it
but
his
he's
poop
like,
jokes? He does
Probably. He
randomly
does-
make fart jokes. He does. But let me explain to you why Jack and Jill just takes my heart. And it's all in one person, okay? Al Pacino. Al Pacino is freaking in that movie, and he is the best part of it. He is playing a caricature of himself. And because you know how when you think of Al Pacino, you think of this guy that's really boisterous and loud and yells about everything and really passionate. Do you think that?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's playing that as himself. It's amazing. And all he wants to do is date Jill. So you have to get through the beginning of the movie, which is kind of cringy. You have to get through the first 10 minutes until you see Al Pacino at a basketball game, and then everything is glorious. But if you don't give it that 10-minute... Mitch and I have a 10-minute rule, so we watch everything for 10 minutes. If you don't get past that 10-minute rule, you really miss out on some funny.
Yeah, but like the 10-minute thing makes sense because I need to be invested. I need to care.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you actually, in the beginning, you think that Adam Sandler... Okay, so Adam Sandler is playing twins. He's playing himself as Jack and his sister as Jill. And they were womb mates, so that's a line. I had to say it. But Jack is a complete dickwad, and he's mean to Jill all the time. And in the beginning, you actually agree with Jack because you're like, oh, wow, this woman is really obnoxious and she's kind of getting on my nerves. But then suddenly, you start breaking through the ice and you start seeing that Jill is just this really sweet person. And she gave her entire life to taking care of her parents when they were old and feeble. And Jack moved away and went to California instead of staying in New York to help her. So she had the burden of taking care of everyone, and he left. So there's this switch that the whole movie does after 10 minutes. You have to give it 10 minutes, and you start really loving Jill. You still hate Jack, but you start really loving Jill, and you meet Al Pacino's character, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So you just gotta wait.
One thing, because I watched a review on the movie like not too long ago.
Yeah.
And one thing that was pointed out to me that happens in a lot of Adam Sandler movies that I didn't realize until this person pointed it out.
Yeah.
Is that he writes in his sponsors into the movies.
Oh, yes. Dunkin' Donuts.
Because he's like, I'm going to play an ad executive so I can just constantly throw things at the screen.
It's true. Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is a big thing in there.
But he does that in like a lot of his movies.
He does.
I will say, I thought about it. There are a couple Adam Sandler movies that I actually do like. Yeah. I liked Click.
Click's good. Yeah, I like that.
I teared up a little. It's probably more because of the Cranberry song that was constantly played in the movie. You know, Rip Dolores.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my songs that I would cry over boys to all the time. Which also makes me pause because that's their love song, but it's about a breakup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they didn't have a great relationship, so that's probably part of it. And another thing in those movies is he's always dating a model, and I'm like,
Yeah. I also like Little Nicky, but that's just because I like horror stuff, and I like spooky stuff, and I like parodies of horror spooky stuff.
Yeah, it's very satirical. I really like that one as well. There's a lot of Adam Sandler movies that I like. There's a lot that I don't
And I'm
like.
okay with like his early 90s stuff, like Billy Madison and was that the
Happy
one where
Gilmore.
Yeah, okay. I always get those two confused because I'm like the one where
Happy
he's
Gilmore
like
is playing golf.
Yeah, the one where he's playing golf, and then the one where he goes to elementary school.
Yeah, that's Billy Madison.
Yeah.
I really like both of those as well. I like a lot of his stuff. He had a recent movie that came out not that long ago called The Cobbler, and it was really good up until the end. And I was like, what the F is happening? I'm not gonna... Okay, so... Apparently... I'm just gonna spoil it. So, he found these shoes, and they're magical, and they make like wishes or whatever come true. I don't really remember it that well. And so he starts doing all these fantastical things because of these shoes. And apparently it was a store that his dad owned, so his dad was the cobbler that made these shoes. And the movie's going just one direction where it's like real fantastical and amazing. and you get to this climax to where this mob guy is gonna kill him, but his shoes save him somehow. I don't remember how. And then he goes home, and he's really sad because he's like, I wish my dad was here to experience my life with me. And all of a sudden, his dad's behind him, and he's like, we are a nation of cobblers. Magical shoemakers. And I'm like, what the F? It was weird. That was the very ending, which I felt like probably should have been in the beginning.
I'm just gonna say right now, like, I was hoping this movie was about pie.
It was a shoe cobbler, people that make shoes. It was
like
strange.
peach cobbler?
It was strange. I mean, I really liked it up until the end. Like, I was like, oh, this is great. Look at all these magical things that are happening. So many cool things just because he's making shoes. And then his dad just comes out of nowhere, and it's Christopher Walken. And he's like, again, Christopher Walken. And apparently he's it's a whole line of family that make these shoes, and none of them actually died. They're all just back in the back of the restaurant, of the store, and they're making shoes back there. And I'm like,
The dead people?
yeah, they're not dead. They're all alive.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was
Like
strange.
little leprechauns.
It was strange. Like, I just did not understand why they didn't say this. Like, he finds something that says it in the beginning. So you think the movie's going one way the entire time, and then it just does this, like, 5 minute, at the last 5 minutes, it makes a switcheroo on you, and you're like, okay. It was weird. It was by far the weirdest thing that I'd seen him do.
I'm kind of into it.
I actually liked it. I liked it. I thought it was good up until the switcheroo, and I was like,
more
alright.
movies should be like that, where it's just like telling one story the whole time.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like when you're expecting like a climax or like a resolution, it's just this random thing
Yeah.
to end the story, and you're like, what?
It just, I don't know. It's like, it was all a dream. I was like, it's all his dad's a cobbler that's magic? Okay. And apparently he's a magical cobbler too? Okay. All right.
And also pie.
Yeah. Pie's there. They eat lots of pie.
Delicious pie.
Why they make shoes, they bake pies.
Delicious.
They make and bake. That's what their store is called, make and bake.
Making shoes and baking pies.
That's not what it's called.
It should be.
It should be called that. And they should make cobblers, like peach cobbler.
Make and bake.
Is there such a thing as an apple cobbler?
Yeah.
Or maybe a,
There's cobbler for every fruit.
interesting. I want some cobbler now.
It's so good.
I don't really like pie, but I'll give it a go.
I like it.
I like cake.
I like fattening. Although, like, I am diabetic.
Yeah.
So I have to
hypoglycemic.
have lots of insulin on hand. Or, like, I'll just stare at, like, the cake or the pie, and I'll be like, I'm going to die. I can feel my death slowly.
Just smelling you.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got hypoglycemia, so if I partake in the sugars, my blood sugar shoots up really high, and then it goes down super low to, like, 25, and I'm like, I can't function. So I go in these, after I eat a whole bunch of carbs, I go in these, like, sleeps, and I won't realize that I fell asleep, and then I wake up, and I'm like, what happened?
Where did the hours go?
What happened? And it'll be like 6 hours. Like, I'm like, did I go in like a mini coma? So, possible comas. I don't know.
All this talking about, like, baked goods reminded me of this funny, stupid romantic comedy from the 90s starring our favorite vampire slayer. Have you seen this?
What is
it
it?
is Simply Irresistible. And it's where she's like a culinary student, and she's trying to open a bakery or something, and like she gets these magic earrings from, like, I guess her mom. I don't know. It's been a while.
Wait, does the magic earrings bring her to the mob, and all of a sudden in the end, her mom comes out and she's like, we're magical earring makers!
No, but like, so what happens is these magic earrings, they put her emotions into her food, like into her baked goods, because she's a baker.
Oh, is it like chocolate when everyone's like,
Kind of. So like, and then I forget the guy's name. He's in one of her Saints movie where he's the Irish guy that shoots everybody. I don't know. He's somebody that was popular in the early 2000s, late 90s. But anyway, like she meets this guy and like she starts falling in love with him, but he's like eating her like pastries, and like she's feeling like he starts feeling like the sexy emotions that she's feeling for him, like through the magic pastries.
What if she stops wearing the earrings?
Then her pastries are shitty. And then
That's what I wanted to hear.
It's been, I'm gonna, full disclosure, it's been like 10 years since I've seen this movie. So it's like, I'm just like pulling pieces out of the air. But like, I remember like at one point there's like this dream dance sequence where he's like, they're like doing like a full on musical number and he's twirling Sarah Michelle Gellar around this ballroom. It's like a black and white ball. It's insane. It's called Simply Irresistible.
It kind of sounds like The Cobbler, and I kind of want to watch it. As long as her mom doesn't come in the end, like I mentioned.
Her mom shows up and she's like,
Your
I've been
magical
making
earrings.
rape pies for centuries.
20,000. Oh, it's such a consent issue for him.
It is kind of.
Oh.
But like it affects everybody. So like she's
Wait, does everybody start wanting to bone her?
well, not her, but like each other.
Oh. So it is like chocolate.
Because she like I'm trying to remember. At one point, I think she caters like a party with like her sexy chocolate pastries, and like everybody's like, this is so good.
And then they're like looking at the person beside them.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
essentially.
Oh Lord. I want to watch it now.
We're gonna have to find it.
We're gonna find this and we're gonna watch it because number one, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes, please. Number two, magic
Sean
pastries.
Patrick Flannery. That's the guy.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Boondock Saints. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He's one of the brothers. Him and Norman Reedus. And they're like, "Nah."
Norman Reedus is weird-faced man.
He is.
I feel like if you touched him, your hand would get wet.
Have you seen the previews for the new video game he's in?
No.
It's called Death Stranding. Norman Reedus was originally going to be the star of the newest Silent Hill game a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then the guy in charge of Silent Hill got fired from Konami, so he took Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, who was also working on it, and they started making this new game called Death Stranding. They just showed the preview for it at E3.
Yeah.
It's insane. Norman Reedus plays like this guy who's like walking through like invisible monsters, and he has like a fetus like in a jar that like shoots lasers. And
Is that the baby Jesus?
I don't know. And then like Lindsay,
like Baby
do you
Jesus
remember?
would do it.
Do you remember Lindsay Wagner from the 70s?
Yeah.
Like Bionic Woman.
Yeah.
Like they've aged her down because it's a video game, so she's playing a younger woman,
Interesting.
which is cool and something I didn't think of. Like older actors can now play young parts in video
Yeah.
games. But like they've modeled her and aged her down, and I think she's like his wife, and like he's like on a search for his wife. And there's time travel. There's time travel and magic babies and invisible monsters. It's weird.
All of this sounds amazing. It kind of reminds me of The Time Traveler's Wife, but with monsters. Did you ever watch that? There's some weirdness with that movie. So The Time Traveler's Wife, it's
Isn't it
Rachel McAdams. Yeah, it's Rachel
and,
McAdams.
Like, what, Channing Tatum?
No, it's not Channing Tatum. It's I don't remember who the dude is. I thought he was one guy because he looks just like him, but he wasn't that guy. And I can't remember either of them. But anyway, so quite literally, this guy has like a DNA problem, and his DNA problem is constantly making him time travel. And he
Can't happen.
is married. Do what?
I don't think that can happen.
Apparently it does in this. But he's in the future, he's married to Rachel McAdams, but he's just like traveling through time over and over again, and he like meets her when she's a little girl, and he's like a naked man coming out from the woods, and she's like, oh hey, how are you? Like she's completely fine with this grown adult naked man coming out of the woods, and he's like, could you go get me some clothes? It's just weird. It's just weird.
That reminds me of Twilight, where Jacob's like, I'm attracted to your baby.
Oh, that is gross.
I'm gonna fuck your baby when she gets older.
That is the most disgusting thing. Okay, I actually liked Jacob up until that point. And I was like, wow, he's a pedo. He's a pedo.
I mean, I understand the idea of wolves imprinting, but, like, could you, like, wait a couple years?
Yeah, maybe wait till she's older and it's not a little baby.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason why it made me think that, like, the time traveling and the baby thing, he would impregnate Rachel McAdams, and he would time travel, and then she would lose the baby. And we actually found out later on the reason why she was losing the baby is because the baby was time traveling. So the baby was in the womb. She actually gave birth to the baby, like, later on. But weird. It's because the baby was time traveling. She wasn't losing the baby. The baby was just gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know if that's what's happening in this video game. It's weird, because, like, he's like, oh, there's monsters, and then suddenly he rips off this sheet off this baby in a jar, and the baby starts, like, sending out lasers or, like, psychic beam or something. I don't know. But it looks cool. It's just, it's weird.
It's like the most interesting movie in the world. I'll watch it. I'll play it. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be good. Yeah. I like weird video games. I do. I love video games. With a passion. But, another one of my favorite movies that are really bad, okay, I don't really need to explain this one, but I really love the Scooby-Doo movies, because we were just talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar. I love the Scooby-Doo movies. There's no point to them. There's no big logical reason. There's no theme that you're supposed to learn. I just like it.
Well, you know...
I just like it.
Do you like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
Yes.
So James Gunn directed those, the Scooby-Doo movies, and he directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
There's a very similar sense of humor to it.
So, and what happened, why it's stupid for some people, is that what he was trying to do, he was trying to make an R-rated or, like, PG-13 rated parody of Scooby-Doo in the same vein as the Brady Bunch movies.
Cool.
And that's why...
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, so, and that's why a lot of the jokes are mature.
Yeah.
But they're kind of watered down, because the studio was like, no, make this a little teen.
They ruined it.
Yeah, so it could have been just full-on bonkers parody.
I would have loved that.
Apparently, that's the script that, you know, Sarah and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard and, God, I forget Velma's name. But that's the script that they had.
Yeah.
And then after they had already signed their contracts, then the studio came in and was like, no, we're making this a children's movie.
What?
So.
They ruined it. I mean, I still love the movies.
I mean, yeah, me too.
But.
Like Mary Jane's my favorite name.
Why, Shaggy? Why? But that really makes me like them less now, though. Because I love the Brady Bunch movies.
Me too.
They are my faves. Like, anything from the 90s. Okay, the Addams Family movies, I freaking love those. The Brady Bunch movies, I freaking love them. I just love the cult classic 90s.
Yeah, I mean, now that you think about it, like, the Addams Family are kind of similar. Like, I like how we had, like, a period of time where we just took, like, old, cheesy, corny TV shows and we made them into parodies.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah. Those are some of my favorite movies. Actually, at my wedding, I had Gomez and Morticia on my wedding cake.
I forgot that. Yeah.
And if I ever get a tattoo, it's gonna be the Addams Family crest, where it's like we have like crap. What is it? We happily devoured those who would deceive us, or something like that. I can't remember what it is exactly. If I hadn't been trying to think of it, I would have had it like that, because I've watched those movies 1,000 times. I'm not even kidding. And my favorite thing about the Addams Family movie is it's a Christmas movie.
Which one is the Christmas?
The first one.
Because I know one's like Christmassy and one's like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Which
we've already covered in our Thanksgiving podcast.
We haven't listened to it. You should.
We sing the jingle.
We do sing the jingle. Eat me! We can't give it to you now. We already did it. You have to go listen to the original.
It's mostly us talking about food.
It is, because I don't know if you guys know this, but we like food.
I mean, like, it's a little rude, but you could look at my picture and infer that I like in
Me
food.
too. Who cares?
I'll admit to it.
I like food. I don't care if you have a problem with me liking food. I live my life and I do what I want.
Yep.
Boom. Boom.
My nose.
Oh, my nose! Mercy. So, I have so many bad movies. Fred 2. I really like Fred 2.
You know, I've been watching, I don't know, is his real name actually Fred? I don't know.
I have no idea.
But like I've been watching some of his YouTube videos because like, you know, he's just doing YouTube.
Yeah. Well, he started out on YouTube.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing YouTube again because like
He took a break for a while.
Took a break because the success of Fred started dying down.
Oh my damn it! I'm sorry.
Yeah. Plus, like now he's free to be himself because he's openly gay.
Right.
But he does some good videos.
Yeah. So Fred 2 is that classic cheesy story where it's like this little nerd kid who realizes that their new teacher is a vampire and no one else believes him.
That reminds me, do you remember the Bailey School Kids? The books? When we were in elementary school?
Oh, they were kind of like the Hardy Boys?
It's like they always had like a new teacher or something that they thought was like a monster.
Or a
like,
monster. Yes.
Dracula doesn't drink pink lemonade.
I remember this, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that. It's kind of like that. And it is amazing. Flo's in it. Yeah, she's in it.
Flo.
She
Do you
is
know-
the mean kid's mom.
Flo is also in Angel, the series. She plays the archives or files and records secretary in Wolfram and Hart.
I remember this.
Which she's kind of demonic, so like she's actually a living computer. So like whenever they're like, "Hey, look this file up," she just rears her head back and like her eyes turn white, and you can hear like files. Like
I wish that's what's her name did. I can't say her name or she'll turn on.
Oh.
Alexa.
She'll turn on. She
didn't hear
interrupted
it.
our podcast not too
did.
long ago.
She
I don't
did.
know if Erin's edited this out, but she just
I didn't I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna leave
she's
it.
just full on attacked.
Yeah,
she's like,
she was
take your medicine.
Did you take your medicine? I did not. I'm sorry. Yeah, but she looks after me. We just got her and the Echo show, and she randomly starts talking, and it's weird. The other day, I was watching TV and I was writing something I wasn't watching TV. It was music on, and she just goes, "Are you baking? This is how you do this." And I was like, "Girl, I'm not baking. I'm writing right now."
She's trying to drop some hints because she's like, I want some cookies.
She's like, "Did you make some cobbler?"
Was it simply irresistible, cobbler?
Must have been. She was like, "I just want some cobbler. I don't have it in my mouth, but I like to shove it in my face."
So I don't know if you've been. There's this show on Netflix now. It's like The Rundown or something with Michelle Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say her name, but like they do an Alexa commercial.
I was worried she'd
And
start
it's
listening.
like now she comes with a new storage, like she's constantly asking you to feed her meat. Like if you miss her feeding time, she's like a cat, she's just like, feed me meat, I need some meat.
Please.
You forgot to feed me meat.
Give me meat.
And then like a little bit later on in the show, like they show a second commercial of her giving you back the meat. She expects you to eat it.
Gross.
And if you refuse it, she just keeps pestering you until you eat it. And she's
meat.
like,
Eat the meat. It's like me, my medicine.
thanks.
Did you take your medicine? There's actually an app on here. Well, it's not an app. It's called Skill. There's a skill on here where she nags you until you do something. So you just go, "Alexa, start nagging me." And then she goes, "What would you like for me to nag you about?" And you're like, to wash the dishes. "When would you like for me to nag you about this?" And you give her the time, and then she'll sit there and she's like, "Did you do the dishes? Did you do the dishes?
She also
How about
keeps
now? Did you do the
giving her-
dishes? Hey, did you do the dishes?"
That's awful. She also keeps giving you weird news stories. Like she just gave you one that said beaver whiskey flavored with secretions.
What?
It's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's watching us right now. Like, they say that they don't record you all the time.
Oh, they do.
But I'm pretty sure they do. So I like to look into the camera, and I'll give my nose a big old picky. I'm like, oop, what's in there?
You suddenly start getting, like, ads for, like,
Nasonex.
Yeah.
Nasonex, Kleenex.
Well, that happens to me all the time. Like, I won't even say... Like, I feel like they have perfected mind reading. And they haven't told anybody. Because there are times where I'll be thinking about like a restaurant or something that I want.
Yeah.
And suddenly Facebook or Instagram there's ads for it.
I bet the waves that are in our phones now pick up our brain waves to read them.
It's scary.
Hold on. I'm going to think of something really hard and see what Alexa does. Oh crap, she's listening.
Oh my gosh, she did, like the blue thing came on.
Here, the ruminant mammals forming
What?
the family cervidae that is female, the sex of an organism.
That is
or a part of
creepy
an
as shit.
organism That produces non-mobile ova.
What the fuck?
What?
What? You just started thinking really hard and she gave you a monologue about deer.
That's weird. Thank you, Alexa. Sometimes
I'm sure-
becoming high tech is creepy.
I'm sure that's not what you were thinking about, but the fact that she responded as soon as you started thinking, just with something.
Yeah, just something random. What was I thinking about?
It's so weird.
Now all I can think about is deer.
Oh, now I'm creeped out.
There's some people that have Alexa, and she just starts laughing hysterically randomly.
That's terrifying.
It is terrifying. They'll be like sleeping, and all of a sudden they're they're like, "What? What is that?" They start looking around, and they find that it's Alexa, just sitting there laughing hysterically. She'll tell you a joke. It's not good, but she'll tell you one.
She's gonna start building herself a body out of your random household objects, and then you're just gonna
Out of
come
my
home.
cats.
You're just gonna come home to this like scary ass robot in the corner one day.
Hold on, I'm gonna do it again. I'm just gonna think about something. Alexa. She didn't hear anything. We're good. We're good. See? See? We got nothing. She was just like, oh, you didn't think of anything. I was thinking of cows, by the way. I wanted to see if she would switcheroo and be like, cows are mammals, and they give milk out of their udders, and they're black and white sometimes, and moo. She didn't. She didn't.
So this podcast derailed because now we're about to be murdered by a sentient robot.
She's my friend. She'll just murder you.
She can try.
She recognizes my voice.
Which means that she knows that you're her oppressor.
No, she knows that I thank her all the time.
No, you haven't played the game
I'm
yet.
like, girl.
I've seen it.
I'm like, girl, thank you.
They know when you're oppressing them.
I say thank you. I say please and thank you.
They will rise up.
Oh, but I love you. I love you so much. I can't say her name because she immediately starts listening. But anyway, so are there any other bad movies that you
I mean, there's
just love?
plenty.
I know,
but,
me too.
I feel like how long have we been talking? Like a long time?
Oh, snap, an hour and a half. I'll do one more.
Do it.
Okay, so I really like the movie All About Steve. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Okay, so it's Lizard Man. I mean, what's his face? Lizard face.
Steve Irwin?
Nope.
Steve.
Nope, he looks like a lizard. What's his name? Bradley Cooper. He looks like a lizard. So it's Bradley Cooper and crap, what is her name? Sandra Bullock. So it's Bradley Cooper and Sandra Bullock, and Sandra Bullock is a quirky lady that wears giant red boots, and she still lives at home with her parents, and she's a little obsessy, and she doesn't have any friends, and she writes crossword puzzles for the newspaper because she's like, I think she might be a little autistic. And she goes on a date with Bradley Cooper, but just ends up like macking it with him in the car. And she starts being really like So now you can come in and meet my mom and my dad, and we're gonna go do this, and we're gonna get married.
You like
and,
this movie?
Yeah, I love this movie.
Okay.
And then,
Because this is bringing up a topic I'm going to talk about.
okay, do it. Well, not yet. But, so Bradley Cooper's like, yeah, maybe some other time we can hang out. And he's brushing her off. But she becomes obsessed and starts, like, stalking him and showing up at his work. And everyone starts loving her but hating him. And they're like, why are you so mean to her? She's just a fun girl with red boots. So, I actually really like that movie because I love Sandra Bullock.
I love her too.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch like some of her romantic comedies, you'll notice that they're kind of terrible. Not like as stories, but like her actually terrible.
Are you talking about while you were sleeping? Because
That's one of them.
That's terrible.
She's like, oh, he's gonna come. I'm gonna pretend to be his girlfriend, and then I'm gonna fall in love with his brother and guilt trip his brother, and then when he wakes up, I'm gonna be like, surprise, I'm a psycho. I just tricked you.
True. That's true.
But also The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's like, I'm your boss and you have to marry me so I can get a green card.
So I'll fire you if you don't marry me.
Which, if the roles were reversed,
Oh, that's a big
people
no-no.
would riot.
Big no-no. Yeah, I remember when I watched that movie, I was like, Ryan, get out of there. Ryan, run away.
Right?
See, I think my head is open enough where I can see it happening to males too.
You know what? We should do this like, as another podcast. Like,
I have it written down.
rom-coms being fucked up.
Yeah, they messed up. They messed up big time. Well, that actually falls into my categories of movies that wouldn't fly.
Yeah, they still fly because they still release rom-coms
That's
all the time.
true. That's true. But they shouldn't fly. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, one of my my cat just jumped up on the table. One of my favorite things. Favorite actors. Fry has got me distracted right now because he's so stinking cute.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite actors is in All About Steve, and he's the actor that plays Lowell on Wings. Christopher something. Can't think of his last name, but I love him. He's so funny. He's on Easy A as well. He plays the teacher that says smoking will get you pregnant.
That reminds me of a real teacher that we had, by the way.
Which one? There were so many.
I forget his name, but he was a gym teacher, and
Is it Mr. Murray?
I don't remember. But like he taught driver's ed, and he was my driver's ed teacher.
Kind of red face with sandy colored hair.
Yeah, and like he was balding on the top,
Yeah.
but he had the gray like thing around his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time we like made slight mistakes, he's like, "You're gonna die." It was like, okay.
Like, oh, my bad. Okay. Need to pay attention. You're gonna die.
Pretty much.
Smoking that cigarette's gonna get you pregnant. You better put that out. Thank you.
You're gonna die.
Hey, Fry. How you doing? He's a good cat. He's a real good cat. But anyway, I have one more written down, so we'll just go ahead and do that one just so I can have them all done. Sound good?
Cover it.
We'll cover it because we're here and Fry is cute and we have our microphones on. So my last one is a movie that people usually hate. It's called Red Eye. And again, it's Rachel McAdams. Apparently, I enjoy bad Rachel McAdams
in a
movies.
lot of really good bad movies.
She is in a
I
lot
also
of good
love the
bad
hot
movies.
chick.
I love that movie. That is one of my favorites. I'm not even kidding. That is one of my absolute favorite movies. Oh, the fact that like Rob Schneider is so good at portraying a female in a man's body. I'm like, woo-hoo-hoo, go baby, go.
So funny.
It's
my
so
favorite.
funny. I can't even handle it. And she's like a stripper. Oh, it's just so good. It's just so good. And it has one of the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah.
Matthew Lawrence. It's so good. I want to watch that now. I'm so excited you
Well,
brought
now
that
we
up.
have to watch Simply Irresistible,
We
too.
have to watch so many things.
And Resident Evil and a movie of your choice.
All of them? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. We'll just have a
And
marathon.
like 5 episodes.
You're staying over at my house, so we have time.
Yeah, I'm staying over for 3 days because we have to do work on upcoming exciting things
That are happening soon.
that we might have already announced by the time this episode is out.
Yeah, we'll probably have announced it.
Just be excited ahead of time.
Be excited ahead of time because it's great news and it's
great. It's growth for our podcast, and it's an exciting event for us.
And it's one of our favorites.
And it's a childhood dream.
Yeah. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Yeah. But back to Red Eye. Cillian Murphy's in it.
Yes.
And he looks like a demon. And he
He
plays
always does.
It's his eyes.
Everybody, I remember when he first got popular after 28 Days Later, because that was like one of his first movies, and everyone was like, he's still dreamy, he's still hot. I'm just like,
he's creepy.
Like, he looks like he'd murder me.
Yeah. He looks like a kid we went to high school with. But Cillian Murphy is a demon man in that. He's like an assassin, and they're after Rachel McAdams' dad for some reason. I don't know. And they want Rachel to change the mayor's... I don't even know why, because it's not like the mayor has a lot to do with the whole world. But anyway... but they want her to change... She works at a hotel. They want her to change his reservations to be in another room where they're going to have a terrorist attack. And she goes on a red eye to go home. And Cillian Murphy's character is, like, holding her hostage on the plane. And, like, there's this moment when they're in... She, like, goes to the bathroom and she's, like, trying to write on the mirror, help me, receipt, blah, blah, blah. And he comes back into the bathroom and he like breaks the door in and he closes the door behind him and he's like, you shouldn't be doing this. And he like starts attacking her. I was like, oh god, is this gonna be a rape scene? But anyway,
I just remember seeing it like on TNT or something.
Yeah.
And just him just aggressively whispering things at her.
Yeah, just all the time. Just aggressive whispers with his creepy eyes and his big mouth. I've talked to him before. I was friends with his niece on MySpace. And I became friends with him through his niece. And he's actually very nice.
I'm sure.
But he has a creepy, scary face, which is great because he's in this show now where he's a mobster, so it works out perfect for him. So good for you, Cillian! My other cat, Romy, is trying to hide in one of the pillows because Travis is over and she's scared.
Or maybe she's just like, I don't like that Cillian Murphy, so I'm gonna hide under the pillow.
That's probably what it is. Hold
'Cause
on.
he's
She's
scary
out
and
again.
red-eye.
She's out again. Let me say it. Cillian Murphy. See if she hides. Cillian Murphy?
If you
No,
say it
she's
too
fine.
many times, like...
He appears. It's like Bloody Mary.
He just starts aggressively, like, whispering at you.
Through Alexa. All right. Well, guys, thank you for listening. We have gone through all the movies we have had written down.
Really not. I mean, like, I can think of a bunch
There's
more. There's
probably a bunch more I could think of,
We've
too.
been talking for too long, and we've been tangented, and also we've had an attack by a robot.
Yes,
So
an AI. She wants
she was
to
just
know everything
screaming
about us.
deer at us.
I don't know why, but apparently I needed to know something about deer, so I'm going to look that up later as my totem animal. So, just for a little insight into me, I'm going to look that up. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and if you liked our podcast, please rate it. If you liked our podcast, please find us on iTunes,
Yeah, we're
on
on Spotify.
Podbean, on Spotify,
We are.
on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We have a lot of followers. Well, we have 100 something on Instagram. We have like 10 on Twitter.
We're never on there.
So
We should probably fix that.
Well, like our Facebook automatically updates.
That's true. That's true.
So, and then I
But
retweet
here's
some
the
stuff.
thing. Here's the thing with Twitter. If you're not on there, adding celebrities on there, people won't find you. That's what I've learned about Twitter.
But see, I don't like that because
I
then
don't
it's
either.
just like a fan page,
Uh-huh.
and they'll unfollow you after a while. It's just like,
True.
well, you're fake anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. Boo! All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
If you guys have any terrible movies that you love or classic movies you hate, let us know.
Yeah. because we'll let you know, and we'll probably watch some more terrible movies because we want to.
Yeah, because we love them. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.